In the quiet stillness of a Siberian cave, an archaeologist reached down and lifted a tiny finger bone from the cold earth. Her hands trembled not from fear, but from the weight of what she had just uncovered. That bone didn't just belong to a girl. It belonged to a mystery. A mystery that would rewrite everything we thought we knew about who we are. That 13-year-old girl was no ordinary human. Her father was a Denisovan, her mother a Neanderthal.
Out!
Two completely different species of humans, both long extinct. Yet their daughter existed, proof that once upon a time, Earth was not home to one kind of human, but many. At least 4 different species of humans once shared this planet, walked its valleys, climbed its peaks, and even loved across the boundaries of species. 50,000 years ago, you could walk through a single valley in Central Asia and meet them all. Neanderthals, built strong and tough, hunting mammoths with wooden spears. Denisovans adapted to high-altitude life, scaling mountains like modern-day super-athletes. Homo floresienses, nicknamed the Hobbits, just 3 feet tall, hiding in Indonesian forests and dodging Komodo dragons. And then there were the newcomers, our ancestors, Homo sapiens, still small in number, but growing bolder. This wasn't some fantasy. It was reality. For hundreds of thousands of years, we weren't alone. The Earth was a crowded place, live with human species, each with their own strengths, cultures, and ways of life. But today, there's only us. The question is, what happened to everyone else? Let's begin with our closest cousins, the Neanderthals. For over 300,000 years, they ruled Europe and Western Asia. Not the slow-witted brutes we once imagined. Far from it. Neanderthals buried their dead with flowers. They crafted jewelry from eagle claws and cooked hearty meals. They painted cave walls with abstract art. Their brains were larger than ours. They had language. They had families. They had culture. And then suddenly, they were gone. In 2024, scientists discovered something deeply unsettling in a cave in southern France. They found the remains of a Neanderthal man nicknamed Thorin. When they analyzed his DNA, they were shocked. Thorin's family had been completely isolated from other Neanderthal groups for over 50,000 years. Despite living just a 2-week walk from other communities, his people hadn't mingled. No new genes, no fresh blood. Just endless cycles of inbreeding. Imagine being stuck in your neighborhood with the same 20 people for 50,000 years. No visitors. No contact with the outside world. That's what happened to the Neanderthals. Genetic isolation created a silent collapse. While Homo sapiens formed massive social networks spanning continents, the Neanderthals splintered into tiny, disconnected bands. Slowly, their world shrank, and so did their future. But isolation wasn't their only enemy. We brought something deadlier. When modern humans left Africa, we unknowingly carried biological time bombs. Diseases, malaria, sleeping sickness, and others that we had adapted to over generations. Neanderthals, who had never encountered these tropical pathogens, had no immunity. When they interbred with Homo sapiens, they inherited not just genes, but viruses, silent killers. Just like when Europeans brought smallpox to the Americas, the Neanderthals were decimated by disease. The evidence is chilling. For over 130,000 years, Neanderthals and Homo sapiens lived in a tense stalemate in the Middle East. Neither side advanced, but disease was already spreading. Slowly, invisibly. And when modern humans pushed deeper into Europe, those pathogens went with them. The Neanderthal immune systems collapsed. Their populations crashed. Not because of war, but because of breath, touch, blood. Invisible death followed us and they couldn't fight it. But while Neanderthals fell in Europe, another species thrived in the shadows of Asia's towering mountains. We've never seen a complete Denisovan skeleton. All we have are fragments, bones, and teeth found in Siberia. Yet from these shards, a ghost story emerges. The Denisovans weren't just mountain dwellers, they were superhuman. They lived at altitudes above 15,000 feet, where the air is so thin it would kill most of us. Yet they thrived. And their DNA still lives in people today, especially in Tibetans and Sherpas, who inherited those life-saving adaptations. But Denisovans weren't just climbing. They were voyaging. Their genetic fingerprints appear from Siberia to Southeast Asia, to Melanesia, crossing vast oceans, reaching remote islands. Thousands of years before the age of sail, they were navigating the seas. Then, just like the Neanderthals, they began to disappear. The timing was no coincidence. Their decline began 30,000 years ago, right? When Homo sapiens were spreading into Asia. As our ancestors pushed forward, Denisovan populations fell. Some interbred with us, others may have fled. But by the time history was written in bones, the Denisovans were gone. But nowhere was the mystery of extinction stranger than on the Indonesian island of Flores. There deep in the jungle lived the Hobbits. Homo floresiensis stood just over 3 feet tall, with brains the size of a chimp's. And yet they were brilliant survivors. For nearly 1 million years they hunted pygmy elephants, used stone tools, and avoided being eaten by Komodo dragons. They survived volcanic eruptions. They thrived in isolation. Nothing could wipe them out, till we arrived. Modern humans reached the Indonesian archipelago around 50,000 years ago. And just like that, the Hobbits vanished from the fossil record. Was it disease? Competition? Conflict? No one knows for sure. But the overlap is too precise to ignore. And on the island of Flores, the people still tell stories of the Ibu Gogo Small. Hairy people who lived in caves, stole food, and spoke in murmurs. Yes. It's possible the last hobbits lived long enough to become myth. While our cousins vanished one by one, something strange was happening to the survivors. Modern humans weren't just outlasting the others, we were absorbing them. Today, nearly every human carries the DNA of extinct species. Europeans and Asians have Neanderthal genes. Pacific Islanders carry Denisovan genes. Even Africans long thought to be pure Homo sapiens show signs of interbreeding with ancient unidentified human species. The truth, we didn't destroy our cousins. In their final hours, they became us. And those genes, they matter. Neanderthal DNA helps fight off viruses. Denisovan genes allow high-altitude breathing. Unknown archaic genes help some resist malaria. These fragments of lost species helped us survive in a world that kept changing faster than anyone could adapt. But why were we the last ones standing? It wasn't strength. It wasn't intelligence. Neanderthals had bigger brains. Denisovans were better climbers. The Hobbits were the masters of their tiny world. It was flexibility. 40,000 years ago, Earth's climate went berserk. Ice ages came and went. Forests turned into deserts. Animals vanished. Food sources dried up. The world was chaos. Other human species couldn't adapt fast enough. They were too isolated, too specialized. But Homo sapiens? We were different. We built vast networks. When one region collapsed, others offered help. We traded tools, ideas, people. We adapted. We moved. We survived. Not because we were the best, but because we were the most connected. By 28,000 years ago, the last Neanderthal fires went out in the caves of Gibraltar. By 30,000 years ago, no Denisovan feet walked the mountains of Asia. The Hobbits stopped crafting stone tools. One by one, the lights of human diversity flickered out, until only one remained. Us. But we are not alone. Every time you crave adventure, your Denisovan DNA might be calling. Yes. Every time you protect your family, you're echoing Neanderthal instincts. Every time you solve problems under pressure, maybe you're channeling Hobbit cleverness. They're still here, in your blood, in your bones, your breath. The story of their extinction is more than just a history lesson. It's a warning. They died from disease, isolation, climate collapse, and disconnection. Sound familiar? Today we face a warming planet, divided societies, silent pandemics. We are becoming more isolated, more fractured, just like them. The Neanderthals didn't think it could happen to them. Neither did the Hobbits. Neither did the Denisovans. But it did. We are the last humans. And now we carry the weight of a legacy built by countless hands, some large and strong, others small and clever, all of them human. We are not better. We're just lucky. The question is, what will we do with that luck? Will we remember what saved us? Connection, adaptation, cooperation. Because when the world changes again, it will those who survive one to be the strongest or the smartest. They'll be the ones who stand together. The last humans, us.